Attitude check.
Bronco Pie!
Well, hey there, Broncos fans, and welcome inside Nick Gerald Stadium for another edition of the Fayetteville State Broncos Pigskin Press Talk. I'm Andrew Chapman. To my left-hand side, as usual, we have the coach, Richard Hayes, in the house, talking everything from last Saturday's win over Virginia State and the upcoming matchup against Lincoln University in game number 4 for the Broncos and week 2 of the CIAA schedule. Lincoln University coming into town shortly. But first, I want to recap with Coach the win on Saturday over Virginia State. 28-14, the final score in that one, Coach. And it was your chance to play in front of your hometown crowd for the first time since 2019 after the shutdown 2020 season. New turf, stadium upgrades. There was over 4,000 in attendance on Saturday night. Just what was it like to feel that feeling again of the crowd roaring, and how well did that play to your guys' advantage on Saturday night?
It was an awesome experience. I think walking down the tunnel, going to touch the Bronco, doing our pregame walk. When we finally got to the tunnel and I looked over into the home side, it was a beautiful scene, and everybody was excited to see the Broncos run out. And it was a great atmosphere and a great game for the Broncos, and we ended up winning. Yeah,
again, 28-14 the final. A couple of notes from Saturday's ball game. It was one that the Broncos trailed early, 7-0 after the first quarter, and then a come-from-behind defensive touchdown. Karan Blunt refused to go down. He carried half of the Virginia State football team into the end zone. Then a nice little trickery two-point conversion that involved the punter catching a ball in the end zone. Broncos went up 8-7 and did not surrender the lead the rest of the way. A couple of overall stat totals in that one. FSU outrushing Virginia State 145-45 on the ground. They outpassed Virginia State as well, 149-107 through the air. No doubt there was a lot of emotion in that game, Coach. It even got a little bit chippy right there, early second quarter. Look, it's football. Guys, tempers flare over the course of almost every football game. There's going to be a little bit of shoving. It seemed like right when that little skirmish broke out, though, in the second, I know you were kind of on the field, and then you wrangled in your guys, and it was a disciplined effort from there forward. So what did you say when, obviously, emotions were high, and how did you kind of redirect that energy to holding the lead the rest of the way?
Well, I didn't want us to get caught up in that negative moment. Everything was going positive for us. We had just converted the two-point conversion, and I believe we got a fumble recovery, and we're great to start our offensive possession. Then we had something happen while we were on defense, and it was unnecessary, and we had a couple guys run out on the field that really don't know the Fayetteville State way. They're new to the team, and we're going to rectify those situations. But overall, it was just about putting that behind us and keep doing what we was doing. We came in here last week talking about we wanted to reestablish the running game and be more balanced on offense, and I think that's what we did. We held the ball 40 minutes. You know, our third down percentage wasn't as good as we wanted it to be, but we did an outstanding job on first and second down, moving the ball and keeping the chains moving. So really proud of our offensive effort. The defense holding them to 45 yards rushing. That was really proud of the defensive line and Coach Anderson and those guys for that effort, and just an overall good team win.
Yeah, you talk about time of possession. 40 minutes Fayetteville State had the ball in that game compared to just under 20 minutes for Virginia State, and the ground game obviously had a lot to do with that. You mentioned the Fayetteville State way. Karan Blunt knows the Fayetteville State way, and we got to touch back on that touchdown that put you guys in front. He picked up a fumble. I think it was 27 yards. He took it back to the end zone. He had a guy on his left shoulder, his right shoulder. Someone was tugging at his waistband, and he had a couple guys around his ankles as well. As you're watching that play unfold, what are you thinking? You're probably imagining he's going down at some point, right?
He's the strongest guy on our football team. He's a 500-plus bench presser, and I knew he wasn't going down easy. And my thoughts were I was getting ready to run the two-point play because I knew we had been practicing it and practicing it. We hadn't shown it on film, and that was the perfect time to call it. So gave us a boost of momentum.
Any intention to try and line him up in the backfield on offense this weekend?
Well, that is part. We do have the set where we actually fumbled during that set, but we have him, Keyshawn, and another D lineman out there where we try to get a yard it kind of backfired on us this one time, but normally it works for us pretty well.
Well, you mentioned establishing the run, and that's what you guys were able to do for the majority of this game. Again, you outrushed Virginia State 145 to 45 yards on the ground, 46 runs to 21 passes over the course of the game. And we got to see your redshirt freshman, Saheem McQueen, a little bit more. I love saying his name, by the way, Saheem McQueen. Sounds like a running back name. And he got the most carries so far of the season for him, 10 carries for 36 yards. I was amazed. He ran in between the tackles every time, downhill, shoulders square. He did not avoid any sort of contact whatsoever. You had Gillespie, who was explosive in the passing game as well, out of the backfield, and 4 total guys were able to touch the ball for you again with a diversified rushing attack.
Right.
What'd you like out of what you saw from not only McQueen but the entirety of your backfield?
Well, I've always said that our running backs, that room is the bread and butter of our offense. And we were glad we were able to get, we call him Smiley, Smiley McQueen involved in our offense. You know, he's not new to football. He's a Scotland County graduate. He, you know, came to us from Western Carolina. So he's played in some big games. He played against UNC, even though the season, you know, the season didn't count during the spring for him. So, you know, so we got a good kid. He's an outstanding young man, and we're just waiting for him to, you know, get a grip on the offense so we can put him out there a little bit more. We got some things we want to do with him for the future.
Yeah, there's about 4 or 5 running backs that you can expect to see on any given night for this Fayetteville State offense. A new little fold into the offense as well, though, Coach, the incorporation of the tight ends this past week. We got to see Camonte Stockdale have a career day, 4 receptions, 51 total yards was a career high for him. He might be the biggest kid out on the football field. I mean, they make him bigger out in Tuscaloosa, where he's from. 259-pound tight end. Do you expect to utilize him a little bit more as the season goes on? And how do you kind of balance him as a blocker for your rushing attack, but also as a guy who can pick up big chunk yardage through the air for you?
Now you're going to make me tell some of my secrets. I'm
Right,
trying not to do that. But we have 2 outstanding tight ends in Camonte Stockdale and Zach Kellum. Both of those guys are older kids who have been around here a couple of years, and they understand the scheme. And we want to get our 2 tight ends involved in our offense, heavily involved in our offense, in our passing game as well as our running game. And those 2 kids have both done an outstanding job of learning the concepts of what we're trying to do. We'll call 11 personnel, and we don't say who goes in the game in 11 personnel. Just one of y'all just go, because they both understand what we're trying to do. So really proud of our tight ends, and it was finally time for us to get them involved in the offense.
Let me take you late game. You, again, led from early second quarter on, but still it was a close game down the stretch. You mentioned the 3rd-yard conversion, just 2 for 13 in the game. You guys finally had a drive get into the red zone late, and that's when Kamari Lane stepped up and dropped his best dime of the day right into that back corner to Sharp, waiting for it. 3rd straight game with a touchdown for Sharp. What can you say about Kahari Lane? You know, right when you needed him most, he gives you that touchdown pass, that perfect drop into the corner of the end zone. You guys needed to really distance yourself from Virginia State. He had to step up big in the Wingate game and threw 3 touchdowns, and that one kind of did it all himself. When you need him to step up big at every stage so far this year, he has. Is there a clutch gene? What is it that makes him step up in the big moments like that?
It's the work that he puts in on a weekly basis. I mean, any given day, we could look out here right now, and he might be out there working out, throwing the football. You know, the kid came in here, he was about 240 pounds, and he lost about 30 pounds to get himself in shape and battle for the starting quarterback job here, and he won the job outright, and he's done a great job just putting in the work, watching the film. He's always asking questions, trying to understand what the other defenses are trying to do to us. He understands coverages. He can check. We've never given a quarterback the ability to check plays while I've been here, but he's one of the ones that we've given him that ability, and he puts us in great situations and keeps the chains moving. So really, really pleased with where he is right now. Yeah,
and perhaps this is a question to ask him more directly, just coming from his path, going from the University of Arizona to the community college level, now with Fayetteville State. He's kind of been waiting for this opportunity to really take control of an offense and let a team be his and have him be the primary leader.
Right.
What do you think this opportunity kind of means to him, just for that first time being able to be the leader in the locker room every single day and lead his guys out there on the field?
I think it means everything to him. He's a very, very humble kid. You won't hear him say a whole lot. He just sits back and goes about his business. He carries a football around everywhere he goes. Yeah. I mean, I know he's put in the work, and he's waited a long time to get to this point, but I'm sure he's pretty pleased with where he is right now, and he wouldn't trade it for anything.
Well, you guys are 2-1 now on the year, 1-0 in CIAA play, and right back here at home this coming Saturday night at 7 o'clock, a kick with Lincoln University, a team that's still looking for its first win this year. Hasn't really figured things out on the offensive end, but you saw some things you excelled in, like the ground game this weekend. What will be a couple of keys for you that you're focusing in on going into Saturday night against Lincoln?
Just not trying to look past Lincoln towards the next week's game. Every game we play is a big game, in my opinion, and we just want to go 1-0 this week against Lincoln. They're the opponent, and it's real easy to look past them, you know, with the records that they've had in the past and things. But they're a very, very young team, and Coach Dean is doing a great job of trying to build that program up. So we just don't want to look past them. We want to handle our business on Saturday night, and then we'll look forward to that big one next week.
Yeah, that's coming up right here, Nick Gerald Stadium, 7 o'clock on Saturday night. Well, Coach, I know you're already prepping for that game, so we'll go ahead and let you get back to it. Did you at least get a little bit of time to relax on Sunday, watch a little NFL football? I know your Cowboys were playing on Monday. Do you kind of watch your own tape and watch some NFL at the same time?
On Sundays, if the Cowboys ain't playing, I'm watching Fayetteville State.
Is that right? Okay.
Right, but I watched the Cowboys last night.
All right, got a little bit of Cowboys action in, but we're always studying film around here at Nick Gerald Stadium. Well, it's the head coach, Richard Hayes, joining us on the Broncos Pigskin Press Talk. Again, week 5 of the season, game number 4, upcoming on Saturday night. And you can follow that along with by following